There is a dangerous idea hidden inside Nietzsche's philosophy, an idea that many people misunderstand. To understand it, we must first look at the world he inhabited, a Europe where the foundations of old morality were beginning to crumble. He famously proclaimed that God is dead, but this wasn't a celebration. It was a terrifying warning about the coming of nihilism. Without an objective anchor for truth, Nietzsche feared humanity would drift into a state of meaninglessness, or worse, collective madness. But within this void, he proposed a concept that has been hijacked by extremists and misunderstood by scholars alike: the will to power. It is not merely a desire to rule over others. It is the fundamental drive for self-mastery and the overcoming of one's own limitations. Nietzsche believed that life is an endless process of becoming. We are not fixed beings, but bridges to something greater. He called this higher state the Biermensch, the Overman, a creator of new values in a world that had lost its old ones. Yet, this idea is dangerous because it demands the destruction of the slave morality that comforts the masses. He challenged us to embrace the eternal recurrence, to live a life we would be willing to repeat for all eternity, over and over. Could you say yes to your life, including every pain and failure, if it were to return exactly as it is forever? This is the weight of Nietzsche's thought. It is a philosophy for the brave and a warning for the weak. In the following chapters, we will dissect these dangerous ideas one by one and see if they still hold power over us today.
Nietzsche did not hate women. What he truly hated were the illusions that society built around them. To understand his provocative words, we must look past the surface level of his aphorisms and into the heart of 19th century European culture. Nietzsche saw the femininity of his era as a gilded cage, a collection of masks and social performances designed to suppress the individual's will. He criticized the eternal feminine not as a biological reality, but as a philosophical trap that obscured the truth of human nature. His relationship with Lou Andreas Salome, a brilliant intellectual, proves he valued a woman's mind and spirit when it broke free from societal expectations. He believed that truth itself was a woman, elusive, veiled, and resistant to the clumsy grasp of dogmatic philosophers. The harshness in his writing was often a mirror held up to a society that he felt had become weak, stagnant, and dishonest about its desires. By stripping away the illusions of gender roles, Nietzsche challenged both men and women to become who they truly are, the creators of their own values. In the end, his philosophy wasn't about exclusion, but about the radical honesty required to face the void and build something beautiful. To read Nietzsche is to confront our own masks. Only then can we see the human behind the philosopher's shadow.
For centuries, we have romanticized the concept of love as a pure, selfless union between two souls. We think we see the person before us, but Nietzsche believed something very different. Most men are not in love with women. Instead, they are in love with a phantom, a carefully constructed social image that society has taught them to desire since childhood. This idealized image is a composite of cultural expectations, poetic tropes, and religious icons. It is a mask that covers the individual. When a man says he loves, he often loves the reflection of his own ego and the fulfillment of a societal role he's been assigned. Nietzsche argues that this love is a form of possession. It seeks to fit a living, breathing human into a static, manageable box. The reality of a woman, her struggles, her contradictions, her will to power is often ignored in favor of the comfortable lie of the ideal. To truly love, one must destroy the idol. One must be brave enough to confront the person as they are, stripped of societal constructs. But Nietzsche warns us, few have the courage for such honesty. Most prefer the safety of the image over the danger of the truth. If we want to evolve beyond these constructs, we must first recognize them. We must ask, who are we really loving? But Nietzsche believed something very different. Most men are not in love with women. Instead, they are in love with a phantom and idealized social image they have constructed in their own minds. This idol is a composite of cultural expectations, poetic fantasies, and personal insecurities. The lover becomes a worshiper of a ghost, demanding that the woman stay silent and static to preserve the illusion, when the reality of the individual inevitably breaks through. The man feels a sense of deep betrayal, but he is not betrayed by her, he is betrayed by the collapse of his own manufactured idol. True love, in a Nietzschean sense, requires the courage to look past the idol. It demands an end to the worship of images and a beginning of genuine, difficult recognition. We must learn to love the chaos of the human soul rather than the comfort of a social stereotype.
We begin in the soft, diffused glow of a world not yet woken, where the boundaries between reality and the subconscious start to blur and fade. Love often starts as a masterpiece of the mind, a painting so vibrant and lush that it feels impossible to ever truly touch or hold. We see only what we want to see, projecting our deepest, most hidden desires onto the blank canvas of another person's soul. But the shadows grow long and distorted as the sun of our initial passion begins its inevitable descent toward the horizon. The edges of the frame start to fray and dissolve, revealing the cold, quiet void that lies beneath the layers of carefully applied color. We hold on to the ghost of a feeling, a flickering memory of a person who never truly walked beside us in the light of day. Disillusionment is rarely a sudden crash. It is a slow, rhythmic unraveling of the threads we use to weave our own fairy tales. The mirrors we once looked into to find ourselves are now just glass, cold, indifferent, and reflecting nothing but the empty room. The truth is often much harder to carry than the beautiful, shimmering lie we so carefully constructed to protect our hearts. In the final moment of clarity, we understand that the person we loved was only a reflection of our own lonely heart. They are in love with an illusion. Have you ever felt the weight of a story untold? A lingering whisper from a past that never truly faded. An illusion created by poetry, romance, and centuries of storytelling. It lingers in the soft glow of a flickering flame, or the silence between two breaths in a crowded room. We are the architects of a grand dream, building monuments out of nothing but whispers and ink. In the depth of a single gaze, there is 1,000 years of longing, captured in a heartbeat. It is a dance between what is real and what we desperately wish to believe about our own hearts. The ink may fade, and the voices may grow dim, but the essence of the romance remains forever etched. For what is love, if not a beautifully crafted verse? And what is life, if not the most exquisite illusion? Step into the noir, where every shadow holds a secret, and every light reveals a truth too beautiful to stay. In this world of poetry and prose, the dream is the only thing that is truly real.
Every profound spirit needs a mask. Behind every philosophy, there is a hidden garden, a secret world shielded from the common gaze. But Nietzsche believed human beings constantly wear masks. It is not merely a choice, but a fundamental necessity of our social existence. Consider the persona we project to the world. A woman stands before an ornate antique mirror, contemplating the reflection she presents to society. In her hand, she holds a white porcelain tragic mask. It is smooth, cold, and beautiful, a boundary between her inner soul and the outer world. The mask protects the individual from being misunderstood, yet it also creates a distance that can never be fully bridged. Nietzsche suggested that even our virtues are masks. We wrap our complex instincts in the noble language of morality and duty. Is there a true face beneath the porcelain? Or are we simply a succession of masks, worn one over the other through time? To understand Nietzsche is to accept the mask. It is the art of concealment that allows the spirit to grow in silence. We are the creators of our own mystery. In the end, the mask is the most honest thing we possess.
Throughout the long corridors of history, the world has always been a grand stage where every gesture counts. Behind every silent smile and every lowered gaze, a subtle strategy was born in the shadows. It was a delicate dance of social etiquette and hidden truths, performed under the watchful eyes of society. And throughout history, women learned how to master this mask. The mask was never meant to simply hide the self, but to command the very gaze of the observer. It became a refined tool of power, a shield forged in grace and absolute composure. To master the mask is to own the narrative of one's own existence, even in silence. In the mystery of the past, the true face remains an eternal, beautiful secret.
In a world where direct power belonged mostly to men, women developed another kind of power. While the king wears the heavy gold crown and commands the open court, the true architect of history often stands just out of the spotlight. Indirect power is not about the roar of the crowd or the clash of steel. It is the art of the whisper, the science of the suggestion. In the quiet corridors of the palace, amidst the scent of aged parchment and beeswax candles, the queen's influence begins to take root. She does not need a scepter to rule. She only needs the ear of the one who holds it. As night falls, the formal structures of the state dissolve. Here, in the intimacy of the shadows, the most important decisions are made. Through soft words spoken at twilight, she plants the seeds of ideas that will blossom into royal decrees by morning. The world sees a man making a choice. Only the queen knows the path she laid to lead him there. This is the legacy of the whisper, a strategy of survival and sovereignty that changed the course of empires without firing a single shot. In the tapestry of history, the brightest threads are often those woven in silence, proving that true strength is silent, yet absolute.
In the stillness of a dimly lit study, the air is thick with the scent of old wood and the weight of 1,000 decisions. True strength isn't found in noise or chaos. It is the unwavering focus of the strategist, a quiet power. The board is a landscape of the human spirit, where every movement is a calculated step toward dominance, a psychological power. It is the ability to win the battle within the mind before the final move is ever made. When the game ends, victory is not an event, it is an inevitability.
True influence is never found in the noise. It does not demand attention through volume or aggressive force. Real strength resides in the stillness of a calculated gaze and the poise of a steady, unwavering hand. It is the weight of a presence that fills a room long before a single word is even spoken. Behind every move is a quiet strategy, a deliberate choice born from absolute self-mastery. People often mistake loudness for strength, but those who truly lead understand a deeper truth. Real authority is felt in the heavy pauses, in the strategic spaces between the words. It is a presence that commands respect without ever having to ask for it. It is the unshakable calm at the center of the storm. Understand this. The greatest authority is a power that does not shout, but whispers.
Human relationships are not simple harmony. They are a complex architecture of opposing forces, much like the volatile dance between fire and water. We often seek a perfect balance. Yet the very nature of connection involves a clash of distinct identities and differing temperatures of the soul. One element seeks to consume and illuminate, while the other seeks to cradle and contain. Neither can truly exist within the other without transformation. Conflict is not the end of the bond. It is the evidence of its intensity. In the friction between us, we find the heat of growth. When water meets fire, the result is steam and invisible, powerful pressure that can move mountains or scald the very heart of the connection. We change each other through every collision. The fire is cooled, the water is warmed, we are no longer what we were before we met. Harmony is often misunderstood as silence, but true connection is the roar of the waterfall and the crackle of the hearth existing together. To love is to accept the risk of being extinguished or evaporated. It is a surrender to the inevitable change that another person brings. They are negotiations between desire, attraction, independence, and influence.
Society often describes beauty as decoration, but true elegance is never a surface-level adornment. It is a profound manifestation of intent and artistic soul. We often mistake the glitter for the substance, forgetting that every stitch carries the weight of 1,000 decisions. In the quiet moments before the show, the air is thick with the scent of perfume and the hum of anticipation. The runway is not just a stage. It is a battleground where concept meets reality, and where silence speaks louder than words. As the lights dim, we are invited to look past the fabric and see the geometry of human emotion. Beauty is a structural integrity, a balance between the chaotic inspiration of the mind and the discipline of the hand. It challenges us to define what is essential and what is merely extra, stripping away the noise of the everyday. Every silhouette tells a story of transformation, turning raw materials into a language that transcends borders and time. We see the shimmer of crystals, but do we feel the hours of patience required to set them in place? Luxury is not about the price tag. In the end, we realize that fashion is just the vessel, and beauty is the light that fills it.
We often treat beauty as a passive grace, a gentle ornament that decorates the edges of our existence without demanding anything of us. In our modern world, aesthetics have been reduced to mere liking, a fleeting moment of pleasantry in a digital feed. But Nietzsche saw beauty as something more powerful. For him, beauty was not a retreat from the harshness of reality, but a direct, visceral response to the chaos of the universe. He understood it as a biological imperative, a stimulant that rouses the will to power and the desire to live deeply. Think of the Apollonian dream, the drive for order, symmetry, and the perfect form that masks the underlying terror of existence. And then consider the Dionysian, the wild, intoxicating energy of music and dance that breaks through all boundaries. Nietzsche argued that the highest form of beauty is born when these two forces collide, when chaos is given a magnificent shape. This is beauty as a victory over the heavy, a way for the human. Spirit to assert its dominance over suffering. It is the great yes saying to life, even in its most tragic and difficult moments. In the presence of true beauty, we do not feel calm. We feel emboldened, strengthened, and ready to face the abyss, because beauty is the ultimate justification for our existence. It is the proof that we can create meaning where there was none. To Nietzsche, the world is only justified as an aesthetic phenomenon. We must become the poets of our own lives. Stop looking for beauty to soothe you. Look for beauty to transform you into something more than you are. The power of beauty is the power to overcome, is the roar of the lion and the laughter of the child. Embrace the aesthetic force, find the beauty that demands greatness from your soul. He saw it as strategy, a deliberate architecture of the senses designed to disarm the skeptical mind. To most, beauty is a fleeting moment of grace, a mere ornament, but he understood its cold. Underlying geometry, look closely at the golden scale. It balances the weight of perception against the reality of power. In the monochrome shadows of history, the most beautiful faces were often the most effective weapons. Symmetry is not a coincidence. It is an invitation to trust where trust has not been earned. To captivate is to control. It is the silent negotiation between the observer and the observed. Consider the strategic silence of a ruin. It commands respect through the ghost of its former splendor. The mechanism of a lure operates with surgical precision. Shifting the balance of any room it occupies, the strategic philosopher knows that to be seen is to exist, but to be admired is to dominate. It is a game played in the theater of the mind, where aesthetics are the pieces and desire is the move. When the scales finally tip, we realize that we were never looking at art, but at an ultimatum. Beauty is the ultimate survivor's tool. A mask that ensures one is never truly seen until it is too late. Every ornate detail is a calculated distraction, drawing the eye away from the intent and toward the form. This is the strategic philosophy of beauty, a weapon hidden in plain sight, forged in the fires of human longing in the end. We do not choose what we find beautiful. We simply surrender to the strategy. And love itself, according to Nietzsche, was never pure harmony. It is a tempestuous fusion of contradictions, a dance performed on the very edge of an abyss. To love is to embrace the chaotic nature of existence, where passion and peril reside in the same breath. Nietzsche saw in love a reflection of the will to power not a peaceful union, but a creative struggle of becoming. It is the sudden lightning that strikes the calmest waters, shattering the comfortable illusion of safety. For within every great love, there is a seed of madness, and within that madness, a profound, hidden reason. We do not find peace in the arms of another. Instead, we find a mirror to our own inner turbulence. Therefore, do not seek a love that is still. Seek the love that challenges your soul to endure the storm. Love is a battlefield of emotions, expectations, and power. Where every heart is a tactical arena, we enter this space not as lovers, but as strategists. Navigating the chiaroscuro of our own desires, every word spoken is a maneuver. A scout sent into the unknown territory of another person's soul. Emotions are the terrain we must conquer, rugged, unpredictable, and hidden behind walls of silence. Expectations act as the heavy armor we wear, shielding us from the very vulnerability we seek. In the shift of glances and the weight of pauses, the balance of power is constantly recalculated. To love, according to Nietzsche, is to engage in a struggle for dominance, a will to power masked as affection. The shadows of the past linger in every encounter, reminding us of the battles already lost. We retreat into the noir of our psyche, plotting the next move in this grand, psychological dance. Yet, even in the tactical coldness, there is a burning necessity to be seen and to be known. The ultimate victory is not found in conquest, but in the moment the armor finally cracks. In the end, love remains the most complex battlefield of beautiful, dark, and endless war of the spirit.
But the world has changed since Nietzsche's time.
For generations, the path was clear, defined by rigid structures and unyielding expectations. But today, the old maps no longer guide us. The mirrors we once looked into are cracking, and when illusions collapse, many men feel lost. They stand at the edge of a shifting landscape where strength is redefined and the silence becomes a deafening question. In this void, who do we become when the mask is gone?
We often mistake the map for the territory, the dream for the person standing before us. In the quiet corridors of the psyche, we build monuments to those we believe we love. We see others not as they are, but as vessels for our own unfulfilled longings. Our eyes are not windows to her soul, but mirrors reflecting our own deepest vanities and desires. But eventually, the light of reality becomes too harsh for the shadows of imagination to survive. The glass shatters, and the image we held so dear begins to dissolve into the cold, silent ether. It is a moment of profound existential weight when the veil of fantasy is finally lifted from our eyes, not because women betrayed them, but because their fantasies disappeared. In the aftermath of this collapse, we are left with the raw and unvarnished truth of our existence. To love the truth is harder than to love the dream, yet it is the only path to freedom. For in the death of the fantasy, the real world is finally born in the light of day. Nietzsche's philosophy never tried to comfort people. It was crafted to disrupt, to challenge the very foundations of our moral and spiritual security. It acts as a philosophical hammer, aiming to smash the idols of tradition and the comforting lies of the herd. In the shadows of ancient arches, we find the death of God not as an end, but as a terrifying new beginning. Without a cosmic order, we are cast into a void where meaning must be forged by the individual alone. This is the burden of the overman, to transcend the mediocrity of human existence and create nouveau. Lose in a vacuum, consider the eternal recurrence the thought that every moment of your life will repeat infinitely, exactly as it is now. Would you embrace that repetition, or would the weight of your choices crush you into the dust of the past? Nietzsche demands we seek the heights. Even if the climb is treacherous and the solitude is deafening, growth requires the destruction of the old self. Like a sculpture carved from marble, the excess must be painfully stripped away. His insights remain uncompromising. He does not offer a hand to hold, but a mirror to the soul's deepest conflicts.
We live in a world of curated digital mirrors, where every neon glow hides a hollow center. Friedrich Nietzsche once warned us that our culture is a vast theater of illusions, designed to protect us from the weight of existence. Look closer at the towering skyscrapers and the flickering advertisements. They are the modern idols we worship, the masks we wear to escape ourselves. But true strength begins with the destruction of these facades. It is the philosophy of the hammer, shattering the glass walls of expectation. We must peel back the layers of artificial light to see the raw, unfiltered reality beneath. Only in the silence of the void can we find our authentic selves. It tried to expose the truth behind our illusions. Are you brave enough to look at what remains?
And sometimes truth feels dangerous. It is not a gentle light that guides us home, but a fire that threatens to consume the world we once knew. Friedrich Nietzsche once warned us, when you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. To seek truth is to walk away from the comfort of the crowd into the cold, sharp air where few dare to breathe. It demands a courage that borders on madness. Stripping away the beautiful lies that once kept us warm, you may find yourself standing naked before the absolute, in a landscape filled with shadows and the echoing whispers of doubt. But for those who crave the real, the danger is not a deterrent, but a necessary price to pay. For only in the heart of the storm do we truly find who we are. It is a journey into the unknown, where the light of reason meets the darkness of the soul. Are you prepared to lose everything to see what is truly real?
We often seek refuge in the familiar, building a world out of the narratives we find safe. But there is a force that pierces through the shadows of our own making. Because truth destroys the comfortable stories we tell ourselves, it shatters the mirrors of our vanity, leaving no room for the illusions we once cherished. In the ruins of what we thought we knew, a stark and unyielding beauty emerges. To truly see the world, we must first allow the lie to fall away.
A world where men and women stand as equals.
For too long, we have preferred the comfort of the mist, the safety of shadows that shift with our desires. But the truth does not bend to our will, nor does it dissolve when we turn our gaze away. To embrace reality is to accept the gravity of the present moment, standing on the firm ground of the objective world. It is a clarity that demands courage, stripping away the decorative veils we have used to hide the raw edges of life. In this stark realization, we find not despair, but a profound and unshakable sense of peace. The illusions have vanished, and the fantasies have served their purpose as stepping stones to this very peak. Now we stand in the light of what is, clear, resolute, and finally, truly awake.
In the vast quiet of the dawn, we begin our journey away from shadows. Step by step, the illusion fades. The weight of the earth beneath us brings a new sense of gravity and purpose. We are no longer drifting, but as two powerful forces learning to understand reality, we find a strength that only truth can provide. With every breath, the light grows stronger, revealing a world that is both grounded and infinite. We reach the edge of the old world to witness the birth of the new. Everything is clear now. This is the union of vision and existence. A reality that is powerful, boundless, and finally understood.